Alright, so this is my Blazer. It's got so much stuff I've done to it that it's hard to remember it all. 6-liter BTR Stage 2, pack springs, stock bottom end, turbo manifold made out of Weldels, and plasma cut bracket, and then some DOM tubing. 4L80 with a local company, did the stall around 3,000. Rebuilt the transmission because I burnt the other one up like a dumbass. That was the first one I've ever done. Not the one that burned up, the one I rebuilt. The other one, I had a hose for my tranny cooler that was not returning apparently, so it burned it up. So anyways, as you can see, Dana 60, hydraulic assist, and a fab diff cover that hooks to there. And then obviously it ain't all done. I had to plow with it this last winter, so I took the plow off just the other day. But it's got 52-inch springs in the front, and I just made my own brackets, moved everything ahead. And then I was having a bunch of issues with it going side to side, so took all the square tubing and braced the front end up, boxed the front because I kept cracking the frame. You can see the tranny cooler right there. It's mounted on a, that's kind of hard to see, mounted on an angle. Tranny temps stay real good now. Let's see, hydro assist, took the box all apart, tapped it, did all that myself, put new seals in it. Of course it's still leaking a little. The Dana 60 I took all apart, put all new bearings in that, new seals, just a cheap set of shocks. Changed the brake lines. They're from stock car place that's local. What else? Oh. Homemade crossover, goes from the driver's side to the passenger side. I had to tuck it real tight because the drive shaft kept wanting to hit it right there. The cast iron bracket right there is factory Turbo 400. You might know that doesn't fit a 4L80. Well, it does if you take a mill and mill it down so the ID slips inside the 4L80. So that's how that works with the NP208 that it's not supposed to work with. She's a bit of a basket case. She's a little rusty underneath. It's got patchwork. The tub isn't great, but it's good enough for now. I'll put a better tub on it later. But yeah, Dirty Dingo motor mounts. What else? There's the 14 bolt. The diffs are out of an army truck that I had. I had a few of them, parted them out. So it's got 456s. Factory fuel tank with a Warbo 450. 3/4 ton Suburban springs in the rear. And it doesn't really have any lift per se, but the 52-inch springs lift it. And then the shackle flips in the back there that are from, I think, DIY 4x. They lift it some. I never actually measured it. Oh man, most of the stuff that I did you really can't see unless you're underneath. Them little square boxes right there, them are for the floor, or for the seats. I put Suburban third row, fits right between the wheel wells, and it has integrated seat belts. So I had to make brackets so that the seats would clip into the floor and the integrated seat belts would work, because I have kids. And you know, obviously we'll get into my other Blazer here in a minute that was wrecked before this one, but it was important to me that this load was spread out for the seat belts, so that if anything happened, I got in an accident, my kids were safe. So anyways, that's about it under there. Then obviously some confabulated exhaust. I think it might actually be a fence post. It's 3.5 inch and goes back to a Jeep muffler and just a turn down to quiet it a little bit. Currently having problems with this right here, being noisy as all hell, and the bearing is fine. And no matter what I do with the pinion angle or anything else, it wants to make frickin' noise. So I'm probably gonna do a slip yoke eliminator on that eventually. But yeah. Oh. And then right there's the shackle flips. I ended up just welding them to the frame. And then it's got a 1-ton Chevy hitch on it, because I use it like a truck and I pull stuff. And obviously I didn't wash it before I did any of this, because, well, it's a truck and fuck it. Let's see. And I wired all this up so it actually works. Your basic redneck shit, you know, amp, 6x9s. Well, apparently a piece falling out. 6x9s, sub, and of course I haven't got all this back together. Threw an auxiliary heater in it. Got all my relays back here for my windows and everything, and my fuel pump so I get max voltage. And obviously these rear seats aren't the same color as my front seats, but I plan on dyeing them. But as you can see, the seat flips ahead like factory, and of course there's shit sitting on there. Sorry. There. Okay, so it clips in like that, and it flips up like that. And these rubber mats out of a newer truck, it just, like I said, something I had laying around. I used a bunch of shit I had laying around, but seats work like they should. Clip in, and then you hit one here that folds back up. And my other amp, power distribution. It's out of a military Cuck V Blazer. That was my previous Blazer before this that I rolled and almost died. So these I don't know if you can see that crack. These windows are actually out of my old Blazer, and it wouldn't let me attach the picture, but I basically walked out of the windshield, and I rolled like 4 or 5 times end over end. And the seats in the front here, I'm going to show you, probably saved my life. Wasn't these exact seats, but ones like it. They're avalanche seats mounted to the floor, and then there's 1/4 inch plate, so it distributes the load, so that this is important to me that the seat belts worked right, and that's the way it was in my other Blazer. Well, I actually bent the other seat when I rolled it, but it kept me in, and I took a pretty good hit to the head from shit laying in your vehicle, in my vehicle that's in the back seat, but I'm here. So anyways, this isn't obviously all the way done yet, but got my gauges, tack, wideband boost controller. I haven't started it today, but on E85, she just fires right up. There's a view from the front to the back. You can see how the seats fit perfectly right between them wheel wells. But like I said, I'm a diet, and then I want to build a roll bar yet, so I want to take the top off this summer, and I want my kids to be safe. Alright, this is what I got going on under the hood. Hydro boost off of my Army Blazer that I had rolled. Using a factory fuse box, and obviously the wires aren't pretty right now, but factory Silverado fuse block, factory ECM. You can run this with like 4 wires. It's very simple, and then I use this to power other stuff in the truck, and it just works out great. But I just recently switched over to this 6-liter Gen 4 intake, so I did have a 3-piece engine cover, which looked better, but it makes a lot more power with the 6-liter. Running 799 heads. Factory ALS radiator out of a Suburban. I just made the brackets. I've done this in like 3 different trucks. I'm actually running this same radiator in my dump truck that's got a 350 Olds diesel. I guess I could do another video on that. But yeah, John Deere turbo. I don't know if you can see the John Deere logo on there. Yeah, you can't see it. Anyways, John Deere turbo. It works. It was cheap. I've had it laying around. Cheap eBay or Amazon fuel pressure regulator that I just switched to. Like I said, I wanted to switch to this Gen 4, but I was running a factory regulator, so did that. Painted the firewall. I had it apart. Nothing fancy, but yeah. Even like this stuff is just shit I had laying around that I salvaged off a school bus. All this push lock. Same thing with my drain push lock. VS Racing cheap boy there. Wastegate 50mm. Works fine. Downpipe's actually off a Ford Super Duty 6-liter that I got when I worked at the salvage yard before I got sick. What else? Just factory coolant bottle out of a Silverado. It's just sitting on a battery box right now. I really haven't done anything with it. But yeah, the intercooler, I didn't want to cut radiator support up, so the intercooler, she just barely fits in there. I had to trim all the way across and trim all that, but came out all right. I really can't see the brackets, but made a bracket down right there. There's one bracket's right there, other bracket that holds us right there, and then on the top the other bracket hooks up right up there. Nothing fancy, but yeah. I think that's about it. Runs, drives, spanks pretty good. I mean, haven't ran it at the track yet, but so anyways, like I was saying, this is the replacement. Another shot of it for my 86, yeah, an 86 Army truck Blazer. Same thing as this, but it was, you know, Army Blazer, and I was on my way to work and hit a guy that was flat towing a tractor with no lights or anything on it in the morning. Went end over end 4 or 5 times. I don't remember. Like I said, it was a rough ride, but so far this one's been a pretty good replacement. But I had to switch the front clip. I didn't like the 78 Jimmy front clip. Oh, that's another thing. You know, a lot of people say you can't do that. You can't put the newer front clip on the older stuff. Basically cut the section the firewall right there and off another Blazer, made some brackets, and swapped all that over on that side and that side. So worked out good. Like I said, I like the front clip better, and all the parts are just off of different stuff I've had. I had a couple Suburbans, mirrors off that. Yeah, that's about it for an update on what's going on right now.